Hey everybody, thanks for joining us back here at the Range Review. And as you'll notice, not at the range today. I'm actually in my workshop getting some work done here, and I was thinking about what we could do to make our channel a little bit different. Now, yeah, we can continue to do reviews of the newest handguns and rifles that come out onto the market, as fun and as expensive as that may be. We could revisit some of our classics and, you know, bring out some of our old favorite hunting rifles as hunting season is getting upon us and it's time to start getting things zeroed in. Or we could do something a little bit different, and that's reach back into history a little bit and pull a headline from the news and do something that nobody, I think, has done on any of these review channels. And that's to bring you a firearm that was involved in a headline making event. And today, we're going to use this one. Dated August 7th, 1977, this is a copy of the Daily News. The big guy holding the gun in his hand like this, that's my dad. And I'm going to tell you a quick little story about what happened that day. A payroll heist at a local bank on Varick Street in New York City. These two numbnuts decide to walk in there and hold the place up, and it quickly escalates into a hostage situation. They decided that the way that they were best to negotiate was to show how strong and brave they were, and that was to shoot two of the three hostages that they had, using the third hostage as a human shield to get into their getaway car. Well, they shot two hostages inside the bank, and then they dragged the third one outside. When they got outside, these two upstanding citizens saw the sea of blue in front of them, and one of them just decided, you know what, hey, this ain't worth the trouble, and he dropped his gun and surrendered to police. The other one, not as bright. He decided that he was going to drag a woman over to his getaway car and use her as a human shield. And in the process of doing that, he was firing random shots at the police, who could not return fire because he had this woman wrapped in his arm. Well, one of the shots that he fired hit one officer just above the hairline, just grazed him a little bit. Still a pretty close call. And during this, the woman started to struggle. So as he's trying to get into the car, he decided that, you know what, the hell with it, I'm just going to shoot this hostage, dump her on the floor, and I'll get in the car and go. And that's exactly what he tried to do. Well, he shot the hostage. Fortunately, the round passed through her without hitting any arteries or without hitting any organs. Miraculously, she survived with just minor injuries that day. The problem for the guy was that she kind of slumped back onto him as he was getting into the car. And he couldn't get her off of him fast enough, because heading his way at that moment was the officer who took a round to the head. As the guy decided that he was going to push her off, he saw that officer right there and brought his firearm to engage that officer and began firing. Again, miraculously, the bullets did not find their mark. The officer was able to get the gun hand out of the way, take his service revolver, and put 6 shots into that gentleman's right into the center of that gentleman's chest, effectively ending the entire situation. Now, that officer was my dad. Okay, and this was a pretty newsworthy event for the day and for the time. And it's a pretty newsworthy event for my family because my dad survived that shooting. And so did the woman and the other 2 hostages that day. The only person who did not survive that day was the schmuck under the sheet that you saw in the photographs. Now, I could tell you the story and that would be great. But wouldn't it be really cool if I could show you something that nobody else has? This is the Colt 38 Special police model that my father carried that day. This is the firearm that my father used to put an ending to that whole conflict. Nothing special about the firearm, just your standard Colt 4-inch barrel, 6-shot, single action, double action revolver. A lot of holster wear, a lot of wear on the cylinder, a lot of wear around those locking lugs. There's been a lot of shots taken with this firearm. but probably none more important than the 6 shots that he laid out that day that put it into that situation. Those 6 shots enabled him to come home to my mom and the rest of my family. Those 6 shots enabled that woman who was shot that day to survive, and allowed her to go on and get married, have some children. Their children probably have children. And that's an awful lot of history built around one simple firearm. But like I said, it's not the firearm that was special. It was the officer who was holding it that day. Now, I'm going to take a couple of close-up pictures of this thing, and I'm going to put them up on the end of this video. But the next time you see this video, or the next time you see this gun, we're going to be at the range with it. And we're going to take a bunch of shots with it. And I'm going to do that just as a thank you. Not only to my dad, who put his life on the line every day that he put that badge on, but to every other officer, man and woman, who when they put that badge on in the morning and they leave their house, they don't know whether or not they're going to come home at night. So, to my dad, thank you. Officers, thank you. Thank you guys for joining us here at the Range Report. We hope you enjoyed this little story and look into one firearm that you've actually seen in the news.
Politicians take from you and me the very living